Good morning, friends. I am playing with washes today. You know how passionate I am about those because I really feel when you can get that feeling of water control with your washes, it's huge. And if you can get that down, the brush strokes and your flowers are going to come so much easier, I promise. And you guys can do this. So today I'm going to be practicing some washes, and then I'm going to just use pen and ink to draw some of these little cute little daisies here, and I am happy to share this drawing with you. But these are the colors I played with. I'm using my My Lane palette. This is the Paul Rubens Student Grade, and so I'm going to be using kind of these colors. I've got a sky blue, emerald green. Aren't they beautiful? Cad yellow, orange yellow, cad red, and scarlet at the very bottom. So that's what I'm going to be using. But the important part of all this is I really want you to play with these washes because, like I said, if you can get these washes down, you are going to be so ahead of the game and you're going to feel like you have so much control. The couple brushes, I'm going to be using my 16, my big old bad boy, my 16 round. My set is sold out, but there's also, boy, this Princeton Heritage, which if you watched my previous live and my video, the Heritage is a nice in-between brush. It's between their softest, which is the Neptune, and something snappy like mine. A beautiful, beautiful brush. So I will share that down below since mine are sold out. But I am going to, I was going to use that. I think I'll go ahead and use the Heritage so you can see. Let's first just swatch out those colors. And boy, you guys told me about this. This is such a handy little tool. You see me use it all the time for swatches. So much fun. I've even created abstracts with this, just putting little dots all over and then painting them. So much fun. But I use them to swatch out my colors. So let's go ahead and do that. Just going to use my Ranger ink here, which is getting a little dried out. I keep spraying it, but I've had it for years. I think I'm about ready for a new one. And that way I can kind of keep track of my colors I'm using here. So I've got my wash and my rinse water. Now mine got a little dirty here, but this is to wash out, this is to rinse. You really want to make sure that rinse water is clean because combining, your last paint color you used with the new one could create some muddy colors, and we don't want that. We want some really pure, beautiful colors. Okay, let's swatch out here and I will show you. So my first color I'm using is that beautiful sky blue. I'm so in love with this color. I know last year we all fell in love with that beautiful turkey blue. Had some really fun discussions around that, where it came from, what it might mean. And so there we go. That's that one. And notice here, like even painting in these swatches, I just have a nice shiny layer. I don't have any puddles. Get really used to being able to create that. So I wet my brush. I just, oops, let me scoot this up so you can check that out a bit. I'm just, scraping off my brush, especially this one, because it's a softer brush and it's larger. So it's going to really soak up that water. So rinsing it, scraping it off. And now I'm going to grab my emerald green, which is so beautiful. Let me make sure I'm grabbing the right one. So here it is. Wait till you see this color. It is bold and beautiful. Look at that bright green and how well it goes with that beautiful blue. There we go. Tap off my brush, maybe soak up a little bit of that puddle, but look at how much comes off of my brush. So you can also tap off your brush that way. I'm going to rinse, swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Wash, swish it around in the rinse, scrape it off. And let's see, let's go into our next color, which is going to be that cad yellow. Look at that. Oh my gosh, so pretty. When these all get blended together, it's going to be gorgeous. Go ahead and swish around, wash, swish around, rinse, scrape off my brush, go into orange yellow right here. And that will be the next color. Wash my brush, rinse my brush, scrape it off. You can also tap, tap, tap. And we're going to go into our cad red, which is right here. Now, my swatch, I don't quite, it was 5 colors. So I'm just going to add below this one that brighter red, swish around, wash my brush, rinse it, scrape it off, can even tap in here and get a little bit off. And then let's go into that cad red, or you could even, it's actually, I take that back. The cad red is a little bit oranger. I'm actually using carmine. So let's go into that. I believe it's this one here is the scarlet. There we go. And that's a nice, beautiful red. We could even use ruby red, but I think I'll stick with this one. There we go. Okay, oops, I touched into that, so I got a bit of orange. All right, let's start our wonderful wash here. So just to practice a minute, well, we'll go right to our painting here. So those are the colors I'm using. Here is my little daisy drawing I did. And like I said, I am happy to share this little drawing if you want to practice this. I am using because I'm doing a full wash, so I want to use a lot of water. So I'm using a block. Now, I just happened to grab rough. There's cold press, 140 pound. There's also hot press. So hot press, cold press, rough. I typically use cold press. Rough is really rough, you guys. I like it. I like that texture, but I just happened to grab the rough. All right, so let's get started on our wash. And this is a block, by the way. And I'm going to start with that beautiful blue. So I'm loading my brush with quite a bit of paint, and I'm just going to start painting along the top here. Look at that gorgeous blue, you guys. Is that so pretty? Now for a wash, so if you can see here, this is just shiny. I'm going to go in and get that. Now you have to work fast with this. So I've got this line here. I'm now going to go into my next color, wash, rinse my brush, scrape it off, and we'll go into that emerald green. Look at that. Now keep in mind, this is going to lighten up as it dries. And I'm tilting my paper here so that it flows into each other. Like that. And working a little bit fast because we don't want that to dry, but look at the beautiful wash we have here. And that's what happens when you just create a nice shiny wash. Now I'm adding a little bit of water to my brush, scrape it off, and go into that bottom line and pulling it down. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? I don't want to go, see what happened there is this is drying and I went in with wet paint. So it's creating a little bit of a bloom there, but no worries. Going to go into this line with just some water, pull it down a tiny bit. And now we'll go into our next color, which is our orange yellow. Look, isn't this gorgeous? And we will pull that down, rinse my brush, scrape it off, and pull that down. Now I feel like I want a little bit more yellow in there, so I have to go in there fast before that dries. And let's just help it spread a little bit. Water, scrape my brush off, just apply a little bit of paint, working pretty quickly here. Look how beautiful that is, that transition. And now I'll go into the Cad Red, which has an orangish color to it. Look how beautiful. And because I'm holding my paper at an angle, everything's kind of pulling downwards and mixing really nicely. I'm gonna help that out a bit. Little bit of water, scrape my brush and pull that down just with water, but oh, so pretty, right? Now my last color is going to be that carmine or even scarlet. So we'll go into the bottom here. Let me move my hand. Ooh, look at that. Now this is a little bit of a pinkier red, but that's okay because I feel like a lot of the colors up above were more on the cooler spectrum. And looky there. Now I don't have much time to go back into that, but I am going to go just a bit because as this lightens, it's going to, as it dries rather, it's going to lighten up. Just a tiny bit of water here. And there you go. Now I don't want to go up any farther than that because this is already drying, but look at that. And I will just tilt my paper a little bit more, pick up some of that excess at the bottom and just let that all kind of soak down. Isn't that gorgeous? What a gorgeous little wash. I'm going to hit this really quickly with my my heat gun, but what a great, like, do pages and pages of these. You can do little triangles like we did yesterday on our live. Where is that? I put it somewhere. You know, I painted a bunch of triangles practicing washes. So important. Okay, let's hit this with the heat gun a minute. These are so handy, especially right now because it's raining here outside and kind of cool. This would take a long time to dry, so I'm just going to hit this quick. I can tell it's drying because the paper will flatten out and it gets lighter. There you go. And because this is rough paper, there's quite a bit of texture here, which I like. The hot press, of course, is going to be your smoothest finish, but I kind of like that texture. So now that we're dry, pretty dry, I'm going to grab my Ohuhu marker. And by the way, if you're using rough paper, you know, be careful with your fine liners because that rough texture can be a little hard on your points, but this is kind of what I happen to grab. I'm going to go in now and just outline some of these. Start getting some of these little details in, like this. And I'm varying the type of leaves. So some are bigger, some are shorter. These are small down here. And this is coming out a little bit lighter right here because my paper's just barely damp. Let's draw in our daisy here. I start with a circle and then I'm making sure all my petals lead back to point to the center. because you want them to all look like they're coming out of the same spot. So let's just draw those on. There we go. Of course, this one's a little bit of a side view. And here's another daisy up here. How fun is that? So I start with that circle. And then if you need to use those pencil lines coming out, making sure they all lead back to that center. And I'm trying to press kind of lightly with my pen because I don't want to ruin that tip there. And we'll create some little leaves here again. I will put this drawing in the community area for you, or you can email me, wwalkerart@gmail.com, and I'm happy to share that with you. By the way, tomorrow, let me see, tomorrow, June 7th, I have a very, very small class. It's $22.50 if you want to join, and I'm going to be teaching soft, dreamy florals, how to get that look. It's so much fun. It's one of my favorites to teach. Got our centers, so all of these are going to be coming out. Again, I did all of these as a side view because I just love that look. There's our center, making sure all my petals come out and the base of those petals is facing the center. There we go, we're almost done. Here's a beautiful little flowy leaves. Finish that up. Now I could go back in, I could leave it just how it is, and you can too. Just drawn in like this. We could do maybe some splatters. I could go in, and if you want a little bit more, you could paint these, which maybe we'll just do that. But know that you could leave it just like this. I mean, look at how pretty that is with that beautiful wash in the background. Okay, so there we go. Let's see. So again, you could end right here and look at how beautiful that is. And the main point here is I'm always sharing is these beautiful washes. Practice them, practice them. But what we can do is let me just grab my, let me find it here. Isn't that gorgeous though? What a pretty wash. So this is a little bit bigger than I want. I think I'll use my Princeton Heritage, which again is that middle of the road brush, not the softest like a Neptune and not the snappiest like a Velvet Touch. And we can go in here and just add some little flowers. Actually, I think what I might even do, well, let's do this first. So I'm going to go into here and add a yellow daisy. So let's pick up some of our yellow paint. Get it in our palette here, about 50-50. And you're going to be using that brush stroke of point, press for those daisy shapes. Point, press, bring it around, just like that. So little teardrop shapes. And this is where, again, practice that just shiny wash, no petals. So let's do that right here. Point, press, just like that. And this just kind of adds a little something to your painting that's already here. Now I'm gonna go in the center, wash where's my brush, tap it off, and let's pick up a tiny bit of our brown and tap in here. Ooh, look at that. See how it's spreading? Love that. So we get that fun little center. Now I might go into there, I could, with some orange to bring some of the orange up in there. So we'll pick up just a tiny bit of that. And maybe just touch in here and there. But here is where that is so important. Damp on damp, not too wet. Now let's go into this one here, and maybe we'll do a blue daisy. We'll use that blue. So here is our blue that we used, which is the sky blue. And sky blue, you know, isn't too crazy opaque. So I've got about 50-50 there. I'm tap, tap, tap. And let's go in and put that here. Point press, no puddles, opening up the bristles of that brush. Point press, just little teardrops. Point press, point press, point press. And then I'll go in again with that brown and add in the little dots. There we go. And look at that beautiful spread. We've got, again, rinse my brush. And now maybe in that, I want to pick up a little. So I'm lifting just a tiny bit with a dry, thirsty brush. Keep wiping off my brush. And I'm even pulling out, encouraging some of that brown to come out into the petals. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, let's move on to this one. Maybe we'll do this sunflower in orange. So let's grab our orange yellow, put it right in here, mix about 50-50, tap, tap, tap. Point press, point press, point press. And take your time with that point press. Like, you can go slower than me. So point, press, open up that belly. Watch that belly open up. Now this is tucked behind that leaf. Point press. Resting my hand on my paper. Point press. Tapping in with that orange right around the center. And now we'll go in again with that brown. I'm using like a Van Dyke brown and just tapping in there while this is damp because I want some of that to go into the orange. So wash, rinse my brush now. And I realize I'm kind of going fast because I am working wet and wet. So I have to work a little bit quicker. And I added just a little bit of brown on my brush and then pulled it out. But look at how fun these are. Let's do our last flower here. And I think I will do that one in, let's see, maybe we'll do that in an emerald green because we use that emerald green here. And that'll really create some coherence between all these colors. Or you know what? Actually, I think I'll do my leaves in these greens. Let's do this one. Let's bring that yellow down in here. So I'm going back to that cad yellow, which I just mixed with some white on accident. So let me get a pure yellow here. There we go. And I'm going to paint, oh, you know what? Let's make that one red because we've got some red here. So I'm going to go in and pick up some of that red. I'm running out of room here on my palette. There we go. Tap, tap, tap. Get that excess paint off. Point press, point press, point press. Go slow. Point press. I can tend to go a little fast. Point press, point press. Now we'll go into the center with that Van Dyke brown. Dot, 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 dot. Now I made that Van Dyke brown a little bit waterier, so it's definitely spreading in there. Now let's go in and start working on our leaves. So I'm right-handed, so I work from left to right. If you're left-handed, I always give you this tip, work from right to left. So you're not crossing over and putting your hand in your paints. Somebody asked me about that recently. So let's pick up our emerald green. Such a vibrant color, by the way. And I'm using that. Normally my go-to green is sap and an olivey green or tree green, but because we have this beautiful emerald green, I want to bring that down into here. So let's go ahead and do that. Point, press, point. Same with the leaves, opening up that belly. Now this, I'm using the tip because we have a leaf coming in front. Point, press, point, press, point, press. And I'm just going to do that through all of these, point, press, just like that. So we're adding all these leaves. Now I'm going to wet that a little bit so I get a little different value. Point, press, point, press, point, press. And I could even go into these leaves with a little bit of maybe some blue. So let's pick up the blue we were using. Tap, 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 that sky blue. And I might even, look at how pretty. Oh my goodness. I'm just tapping in. Maybe even do a few little blue leaves. Tip of my brush. Pick up a little bit more of that blue. Point, press, point, press, point. These are just one stroke leaves, by the way, because it's a little bit smaller area I'm working here with. Point, press, so almost like little dabs. Point, press. There we go. Just like that. Now I think over here I'll move into some of the yellowy green. So let's grab our emerald green, and I'm going to add a tiny bit of that yellow in there, and let's see what we get, because I went from green to a little bit of blue. Now over here we'll kind of transition to a yellowy green. Oops, now what happened there, if you can see that, it turned kind of an opaque light green. I don't want that, so I'm going to start over. What happened is I had a tiniest bit of white titanium paint in here. So let's wash and rinse our brush and start over. I'm going to pick up with that emerald green, rinse my brush, and now I'll just add in some of that cad yellow. And get a yellowy green. Tap, tap, tap. And let's start here. Point, press, point, press. But look how fun this is. Point, press, point, press, point, press. There we go. So we've got all these colors everywhere. Point, press, point, press. Just keep going till we get all of those filled in. And then I can use the tip of my brush if I want to, just light pressure, holding my brush vertical. And I can paint all these little stems. Let's pick up some of that, oops, emerald green. Look at that. So pretty, isn't it? And you don't even have to really do this. You can just leave that pen and ink, but look at how beautiful that is. So now I'm about done. Of course, you could always go in and add your metallics, your golds. I think that is always so pretty. Matter of fact, let me see if I have my metallic gold sitting here. I just traveled with them. So I have this fun little mesh bag. That is the Mirror series, which is the silver. This is the gold. And I should have softened this up first. I'm always thinking to myself, oh, I won't add gold in, but I just can't stand it, you guys. And so this will take just a minute to soften up a little bit. Just kind of getting all of these. Now, if you add too much water to these, they get more translucent, just like your paint. So kind of keeping that in mind. Not sure which one of these. This one is my favorite. It's the most opaque, but we'll use this one here. I'm going to pick as much up of those as I can. And let's just go in and maybe we'll, ooh, look at that. Some gold there. Oh, that's so pretty. I love adding it in just little touches. So it kind of stops your viewer and says, look at that. Do I see some gold? We can even bring in a few little lines of gold. So tip of my brush. Oh, look at that. Let's see if I can get in closer with that. Ooh, so pretty. I just can't stand to not add that gold. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? Let's do a little bit on the blue. Just the lightest touch. Pick up a little bit more. Lightest touch. Hopefully you can see that. Look how pretty. And the fun thing about this is you don't have to, stop where you feel like stopping. If you don't want gold, you could have stopped. Or maybe you just want to leave the pen and ink, and that's fine too. I think I might just add a tiny bit to these leaves because that is my jam. There we go. Gold, I love being able to create something that kind of catches the eye, but not too in your face. And look at that. Now, I think the last thing I might even try, wiping off my brush, is let's do some splatters. So picking up some more of that gold paint and filling the side of my brush, not the point. And let's just do some splatters. Look how beautiful. And again, this is a great practice in getting comfortable with those washes. Oh, that is so pretty, you guys. I hope you will try this. Let me pick this up. I'm going to raise my camera just a bit and show you this. Isn't that pretty? And you have a couple different levels you can stop at. You could have stopped at just doing the wash and the pen and ink. You could have stopped at just painting these beautiful flowers, or you could have went all the way and added these gold touches like I did. You could also splatter in the turquoisey color. Kind of use your imagination and play. Here's some turquoise. Look at that. So go wild, have fun, experiment. You know, watercolors should be like a dance, not a force. Just have fun and you will be amazed at what you can create. So I hope to see you guys in some of my little weekly classes. They're only $22.50 and I keep them very small so that, you know, I can get to know you guys and chat a bit with you guys. I will link below the supplies I used. And, you know, most of all, let's keep having fun here. You guys make me so happy when I get emails showing me your work and showing, you know, the words like, oh my gosh, I did it. I did it. That makes me so happy. And I'm just really grateful for you guys. So happy painting, everybody. Oh, by the way, check out my shop below this painting. I put in lots of just fun t-shirts and different things with my paintings on them. I hope you enjoy them. Coffee cups and water mugs and just some fun things you can peruse. All right, everybody, happy painting. I will see you all soon. Most of all, just have fun, play, discover, and I will be right here reminding you, you are an artist. You can do it. All right, have fun, everybody.